Thanks, Sarah. The headlines in the southeast today. They put lives at risk on board ramshackle boats. 3 Kent men have been sentenced for people smuggling. We're live at Canterbury Crown Court this lunchtime with the details. The Sussex man whose brother took his own life, now making films to raise awareness of suicide in the traveller community. And puppy progress, checking in after their ex-owner was sentenced for animal cruelty. Hello, welcome to the programme. I'm Ellie Crisell. First this lunchtime, 3 men from Kent have been jailed for attempting to smuggle migrants across the English Channel in boats that kept breaking down. Investigators described it as an amateurish criminal enterprise and said lives were put at risk by the men who made several failed attempts to transport those migrants in August 2018. Our reporter Oliver Whitfield-Miocic is live at Canterbury Crown Court for us at this lunchtime with more. Hello, Oliver. Just tell us more about the various attempts made.
Well, this really was a botched operation by men who had very little seafaring knowledge, with 4 out of their 5 attempts failing. Despite spending £30,000 on a motorised boat, it had to be towed back to Dover Port after breaking down in the English Channel. They then rented a second boat, but that too broke down. Eventually, a vessel did make it to northern France, where 12 Vietnamese migrants tried to board that boat, but French police arrested them following a tip-off from the National Crime Agency. Dave Rock is from the NCA.
They had no concern whatsoever for the welfare of the people that they'd be bringing back. It was at times farcical. They used 2 boats that they bought specifically for the purpose that between the 2 boats on various training runs that they did, they broke down, they ran out of petrol, they had to be towed back to the port.
Oliver, what was the sentence handed down today?
Well, the ringleader of the group, 57-year-old Freddie Lawrence from Woodfield Close in Folkestone, was given the longest sentence at 7.5 years. He'd previously been convicted for a range of offences, including money laundering and drug supply. His co-conspirators were handed sentences of 3 years and 9 months and 3 years and 4 months, respectively.
Oliver, thank you. A murder investigation has been launched after a man was found dead at a property in Brighton. Police were called to Upper Hollingdean Road at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. A 41-year-old man was confirmed dead at the scene. A 49-year-old man from Hove has been arrested on suspicion of murder and taken into custody. It's believed the men were known to each other. A dealer has been sentenced after filming himself delivering drugs in his car. Videos were found in the phone of 20-year-old Regis Colsey after police caught him dealing cocaine in Maidstone town centre. After searching his vehicle, officers seized the drugs, cash and 2 knives. Mr. Colsey pleaded guilty to 3 charges and received a 2-year suspended sentence. A Sussex man has produced a series of short films to highlight the high suicide rate among the Gypsy, Roma and traveller communities. Jake Bauer's brother Danny took his own life in 2017. It's been reported that the suicide rate is estimated to be up to 7 times higher than in all other groups. Jake spoke to our health correspondent Mark Norman.
There's an epidemic in the Gypsy and traveller community that's only known by the families who are suffering in silence. Our lives are being cut short by a mental health crisis that too often results in suicide.
Jake Bowers, who made this film, speaks from the heart. He is from the Roma traveller community and, tragically, his brother took his own life in 2017.
If that was any other community, there would be an outcry about it and people would be doing more. And we need to do more. The NHS needs to do more. We as a community need to do more. To talk to each other, to talk about mental health, to talk about suicide. The worst thing we can do is be privately in pain, but publicly full of pride.
The suicide rate within this community is estimated to be up to 7 times higher than other communities. The NHS Race and Health Observatory was established by the Health Service to identify and tackle inequalities in minority communities. It says Gypsy, Roma and travellers face barriers in accessing local mental health care services.
Well, there should be training for all health, education, social care professionals at the very earliest level. They should be getting to know their communities, although they're only small, relatively small in number, and they should learn from all the other reports that have been done over the years, but which have never been acted upon.
The NHS body that commissioned these films hopes they can be an urgent call to action for the health sector and wants to see them shared widely by health experts. Mark Norman, BBC South East Today, Hastings.
And if you've been affected by the issues raised in Mark's report, information that can help is available at bbc.co.uk/action line. Or you can call for free to hear recorded information on 0800 066 066. In the summer of 2021, 35 puppies were rescued from a caravan in Eastbourne where they'd been living in a state of squalor. Their owner, Michaela Anderson-Letts from Sussex, was convicted of causing unnecessary suffering to animals and last week was handed a 2-year suspended prison sentence. So what happened to those puppies? Fiona Irving, who's been following the case, has been to see how they're doing now.
Oh, look at that. Oh no, they're so thirsty.
Dehydrated, starving and just weeks old. When they were found, these puppies suffered from infections and infestations. One, a dachshund, didn't survive.
Eddie, come here.
But the others were all rehomed.
Sit.
Meet Eddie. He was one of the sickest puppies taken from the caravan. For a while, it was touch and go whether he'd survive.
He was the next one that was probably not going to make it if there was going to be another death. We got him and he had salmonella, he had some joint issues going on, he had ringworm, so there were spots in his fur where it was falling off, blood when he went to the toilet, all round just not great.
This is Pepper. Now 3.5, this feisty dachshund was hospitalised for weeks after her rescue.
She had Campylobacter, which is a bacterial infection that's resulting from having lived in faeces and eating raw food. It gives them sickness, diarrhoea, and just general really unwell.
Despite their rough start in life and the thousands spent on vet fees, all the dogs are now doing well.
She's loving life. She's enjoying every minute.
He's a gentle little giant dog.
Puppies that have at last found love. Fiona Irving, BBC South East Today.
Very sweet. Football now, and Brighton and Hove Albion secured a Premier League win away at Ipswich Town last night. The game ended 2-0. Meanwhile, Brighton's women return to league action this evening. The Seagulls travel north to take on Liverpool in the Women's Super League tonight. Kick-off is at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow in League 1, Crawley Town host Burton Albion with a 3 o'clock start. In League 2, Gillingham welcome Doncaster Rovers. Kick-off there, 12:30. Time now for a look at the weather. Nina is here. It's going to be cold again, isn't it?
But luckily not as cold as last weekend, because of course we had lots of sporting fixtures were called off because of the frost. And whilst it is getting colder for this weekend, we're just about staying above freezing, and the cloudy skies are going to persist, but we're still sticking with the dry weather. It's dry this afternoon, but overcast skies and temperatures perhaps a little below average, but still around about 6 to 7 degrees. Doesn't feel too bad with the light winds. And then as we go through this evening and overnight, all of that cloud is with us. We could possibly see the odd patch of mist and fog, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And those temperatures for most of us will be sitting just above freezing first thing tomorrow morning. It is grey, it is overcast, not a huge amount of brightness, and temperatures will be down on recent days. So if you are heading out, worth just that extra coat, because temperatures will be at around about 3 to 5 degrees. And the high pressure is with us through Sunday and even into Monday next week. So it does stay dry. It stays pretty cloudy as we start next week. There are just signs that that weather may just start to turn slightly more unsettled, with things turning milder with some stronger winds, some clouds and rain, but not until the second half of next week. Ellie.
Well, there we go. We'll take a bit milder, more unsettled. Thank you very much, Nina. That is it from us for the moment. Back now to Sarah Campbell with the rest of the news. Bye-bye.